Xin chào mừng quý vị quay trở lại với phần 2 của chương trình Tôi và Việt Nam trên kênh truyền hình FBNC cùng với cuộc trò chuyện với ông Kevin Moore là giám đốc điều hành của công ty Vietnam Waste Solutions. Hi Kevin, welcome back.
Hey, thanks.
You mentioned about the transfers facility that could be improved in order to make your job easier. Could you kind of elaborate a little bit on that? So we don't have enough transfer center yet?
Well, the city takes care of transfer points.
You don't own anything?
No, we do not. No,
okay.
The city delivers all of the waste to our facility. And so public works departments, which are handled in the various districts, they take care of all that. And they rely upon that household trash getting to that transfer station and then putting it in the garbage truck and then getting it to us.
Okay.
I feel, Ho Chi Minh City is so urbanized that there could be a lot of improvements in those transfer stations. Again, the ideal transfer station is one that's invisible, one you don't see and you don't smell.
Right, I would see that a lot, right?
Yeah, and that's what's needed at most of the new communities, the Phu My Hungs, the industrial park types. I think that's where the room for improvement is.
But would that be better for you if you guys own your transfers and your trucks network?
Not necessarily. The city. I'm not here to critique them. They certainly seem to do a competent job. They get the trash to us, and for the most part in a pretty safe manner. Some of their trucks are a little older, so they don't contain the odor as well or the liquids as well. It's coming down the road.
Problems.
But and that's a problem not for us. It's a problem for the local communities that they drive through. And of course, we always want that to get better. But no, they are very dependable in terms of delivering that waste to us.
So right now you are disposing about 3,000 tons a day, right?
Right.
So that would be 50% of the total waste of the city?
That's what they tell us, yeah.
But I mean, what is your maximum capacity then?
Oh, I don't really feel we have a maximum capacity.
So you could take more?
Yes. If the city wanted to deliver us 5,000, 8,000 tons tomorrow, I could do it. If they want to deliver us 10,000 tons, maybe give me a week or two, and I'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. We could take all the city's waste without a lot of fuss and muss. Yeah.
Speaking about household waste that you just mentioned, is there anything that consumer can do in terms of the waste separations, the recycle, the food, and anything that we can do to make your job better, less difficult?
Actually, to make our job less difficult, the answer really is no.
Really?
The lust is there to recycle, and that is done very energetically, as I mentioned earlier, by the local community. It's just not done at the household. Whether you put out, one bag of trash that has everything in it, or you put out a bag of organic waste or food waste, and then a bag of recyclables, either way, those recyclables are usually going to be taken, and taken at the street level, long before it gets to us.
Oh, okay.
Now, how that's managed and how that flows through the city, there can be improvements for that. If you look at the way they do it in America, a waste truck will come and pick up your trash once or twice a week, and then a different truck, totally different truck, will pick up recyclables, commingled recyclables, and then take them back to a sorting facility where they are sorted in a permitted facility, a clean facility, one that's environmentally safe. So if the city was to adopt a single-stream recyclable program, that would be good.
Okay.
We're ready for that. We have a sorting system that's capable of handling that. The big question is, though, is when that person puts the recyclables outside.
Somebody take it before you.
Well, not before us. Before the city truck would come and take it. It's probably going to be gone. So that is a challenge. And how do you get past that? Since it's economically driven, usually education is the answer for that. Educating the community, and it took a generation to do that in America. But here it is more economically driven. So would economic incentives do the trick? It's a difficult challenge.
So if the city trucks are able to collect the trash that already separated, would that mean that you still have to separate it again?
Well, yes. If you have commingled recyclables, in other words, if I put in one container glass and plastic and paper, yes, I would still need to sort that. When you leave it up to the homeowner to separate those recyclables and have a glass bin and then a metal bin and then a paper bin, they're going to get contaminated anyway. And they're still going to have to go through some level of sorting and separation before they go to their end user. That container of plastic may have a piece of glass in it that if I bail that up and I put that off to the plastic pelletizer, he's not going to be very happy. So it still needs a degree of sorting.
So as a consumer, there's no way I can do to contribute to the job? I mean,
not as a consumer here in Vietnam, not really. But I think it's a better way of looking at it would be, are you contributing to the environment? If you are separating your recyclables, if you are preventing something from being created by a fossil fuel, if you are clearly recovering things that can be used for other things, then yes, you're contributing. You may not be contributing to our effort or the city's effort, but you're contributing in a green manner.
But I understand that when you do the waste treatment, it's gonna discharge some water. So how do you ensure that the pollutions of the waters or anything that is ensured and doesn't harm the environment?
At the sanitary landfill, we have a lined facility that goes through a tremendous amount of quality control and quality assurance to make sure that everything that's above that liner doesn't get below that liner. And that's number one. Number two is we collect water. Water percolates from the waste down to the bottom. We pump that out. And then we treat that. We have 3 water treatment facilities at the Da Phuc facility. And they treat various different amounts and different volumes of water. The beautiful thing about where we are is when we treat water, we reuse it on site. We use it for washing equipment, construction purposes, mixing with pesticides, our fire control systems. But when we finally do discharge water, after if we're done using our water, the canal is happier. We make the canal cleaner.
Really?
The waste, the waters in our area are not as clean as they could be or should be. So yes, our treated wastewater is cleaner than the waters we discharge to. Okay. So we make the fish happy.
All right. We did a video at your facility to kind of show around and introduce the audience about the water treatment facility at your site. So I'm going to show that video to the audience right now.
Okay.
It's going to be surprising. Quý vị, chúng tôi đã đến nhà máy và đã có một cái cuộc ghi hình về cái quy trình xử lý nước thải tại nhà máy Đa Phước, được dẫn dắt bởi chính vị khách mời của chúng ta ngày hôm nay, đó là ông Kevin Moore, giám đốc điều hành của nhà máy. Mời quý vị cùng đến với đoạn phim ngắn sau đây.
Để giúp khán giả truyền hình có thêm cái nhìn trực quan, chúng tôi đã có buổi làm việc trực tiếp để tìm hiểu quy trình xử lý rác thải tại khu xử lý rác Đa Phước.
All right, this is the start of the MBR process. And these tanks on my left is where the biological portion of the MBR process begins. Inside these multiple tanks, aeration, nitrification, and denitrification happens, along with introducing oxygen and managing sludge. After the biological process, then we put the wastewater through 2 filtration processes, starting with ultrafiltration and ending up with nanofiltration. And it's all during this process where we have various meters and analyzers that detect the strength of the wastewater and define how much chemicals to put in and how long our filtration process is going to last. After it's all done, we have treated water that is able to be reused on site. This is our recycling sort line, and this process begins behind me, feeding recyclable products into a conveyor where it then separates them out for use on this conveyor. And as materials go along this conveyor, people stand at different stations and will pick out cardboard, pick out plastic, glass, metals, and throw them down below. Underneath us are a series of bins where the floor manager will decide, oh, it's time to gather up the plastic and then bundle it up. Manual sorting happens at this stage. Down then in front of me is what we call a star screen. This star screen is timed and fully adjustable, so it separates large items from small items. The large items continue on for final sorting. The small items will drop down a chute below me. Then it goes up this conveyor to my right, and then the materials go through a belt magnet. Now, that belt magnet will pick up any materials that have not been picked out by the manual sorting. It then goes through a similar screen, another star screen, separating very small pieces from large pieces. Large pieces go on for final sorting. At the end of final sorting, you can see that the bins drop down into a sunken trench. When we're ready for a certain type of material, we'll take those materials, push them into the trench. It'll feed into that far green machine where we conduct baling. And that's where it takes and compresses all the material, wraps it with a wire, and it's ready for export.
Vâng, xin chào mừng quý vị quay trở lại với cuộc trò chuyện với ông Kevin Moore, là giám đốc điều hành của Vietnam Waste Solutions. Well, that was a pretty good tour that you did for the audience. That's pretty neat. So I know you had experience in other markets, a lot of markets before you came to Vietnam. So what do you say in Vietnam, we have a similar path of developments in this area?
Yes, I believe so. I think we're a flagship. The Da Phuc facility is a flagship. The next flagship is most likely to be a project we're working on in Long An. And yes, I've seen that similarly in other countries. My best comparison would be China. Flagship facilities taking care of a portion of the waste at a facility, at a city or a regional population. And what happens is the other facilities around that follow. It's a matter of finding that new facilities can meet tough regulations like we have in the States, environmental regulations, pollution control regulations. And then, yes, if this facility can do it, well, then why don't the other three facilities for this region do it also? And yeah, I see that happening as well. You know, and that puts everybody on the same playing field and improves the quality of life at these landfills for everyone.
Is that true that the waste that we can transform it to an energy later? Right?
Yes, and that's when you look at the near future in terms of technologically advancing. It's waste to energy looks to be the short-term advance. Since the beginning of man, people have been burying or burning or transforming waste, and it really hasn't changed. We've just refined it from time to time, and waste to energy is a clean source of energy. It's one of the cleaner sources of energy outside of solar, of course. And but I see transformation as the long-term approach.
So you don't have the strategy on that yet?
I look at Long An project, and I look at a transformation happening there. When I call transformation, it's one firm's waste can be another firm's feedstock. So if I'm developing this product, and I'm going to have a waste from my development of this product, I can put that to beneficial use or maybe I can't put it, but another group can put it to a beneficial use for making his product. And you create that cycle. So getting a synergy out of transforming the waste so it doesn't end up in a landfill, it doesn't have to be burned or buried, then that's what I see happening. Developing products that can be transformed. And it's not just limited to a packaging. It can actually hold a food product. I see advancements there. And in a place like Long An, where we're going to have a complex that has so many different types of industries in it, all geared towards waste recovery or reclaiming a product or reclaiming something, and that their neighbor right next door in the same facility can possibly use that. That's the synergy that I see from a long-term standpoint.
So you have another project in Long An that's come up and going to be a bigger scale than Da Phuc?
Yes, much bigger.
In terms of functions and in terms of the areas? In
terms of everything. Yeah, it's going to be a much more comprehensive. It's not so much getting away from the landfilling, getting more into this transforming, recovery of materials, of resources, creation of energy. That's where we see Long An going, or the project facility at Long An.
Sure. Thank you, and we get back to that after a short break.
Okay.
Thank you. Thưa quý vị, vừa rồi là phần 2 của cuộc trò chuyện với ông Kevin Moore, là giám đốc điều hành của Việt Nam Waste Solutions. Mời quý vị giải lao trong ít phút trước khi quay trở lại với phần cuối của chương trình.